Welcome to the Rural Atheist, where living rural does not exclude logic and reason. We live amongst you. And you don't even know. We are there.
Welcome, everyone, to the Rural Atheist, Episode 1, the introductory episode. I'm not going to tell you my name or location at this point, and that's for my own safety, as well as the safety of my livestock and my equipment, my farm, and so on. But I will tell you this. There are more of us out there than you realize. We are on the farms, the ranches, the acreages. We are your neighbors. We raise livestock and crops. We drive tractors and pickup trucks. We wave to you as we pass each other on the gravel roads and two-lane highways. You know, the farmers wave with two fingers and a nod to acknowledge one another as we pass in opposite directions. We are everywhere, hidden in plain sight, and you don't even know who we are. I've been on this particular farm for over half my life, decades, and I am in the process of liquidating my livestock. I will tell you, I'm in the Midwest, and we have been in severe drought the last few years, and that's not just the Midwest, but the surrounding states as well. So hay comes at a premium to the point where people are stealing it. Grain is exceedingly expensive, and a lot of farmers, myself included, we are liquidating our breeding stock. And these are the mamas that raise the babies who are raised to adulthood and then sent to the sale barn where you have people buying them. The buyers will buy them, the ship off to, the packing houses. And from there, they end up at your local grocery store where you will buy it on a styrofoam plate, basically a packaging with saran wrap to take home and feed your families. And I'm sure you've noticed how expensive meat has gotten lately. But the farmer, we're not making that money. So it's the middleman. Anyhow, I digress. So let me tell you a little bit about the town. My town, it's small and it's very, very rural. It's very, very cliquish. Pretty much everybody belongs to a church. The Baptist church is the dominant religion here. And of course, followed by Amish, old order Amish. And then you have the other various religions like, the Catholics and the Lutherans and I'm trying to think, the Methodists and so on and so forth. I even think there's some Jehovah's Witnesses somewhere around here. So that is kind of the makeup here. Pretty much 100% Christian, pretty much 99.9% white, and I'm saying that because that 0.1% that isn't white would be the Spanish family that own and run the Mexican restaurant off the square. Oh, and we have a lot of things in town too, which I'll cover that in a minute. But they own a restaurant. It's very good food, very good service, nice family, love it. So my neighbors, we'll talk about them. Most are pretty decent folk. There are some bad apples, but you're going to get that with every group. They are, for the most part, basically Republican, Trump loving, homeschooling, fundamentalist Baptists. You don't see school buses on my road, even though there are children here. They use their churches to network for business connections, for jobs and a loan at the bank or personal get-togethers, whatever. So if you are not a part of the church, well, you're just not part of the in group. I am not a part of the church, and I am not part of the in group. End of story there. So our town, we do not even have a stoplight in town. We have one grocery store. We have 2 or 3 convenience stores. We have 2 farm stores and a farmer's co-op, a hospital. We have a dentist, and we have a couple chiropractors, high school with the requisite lighted football field because small town rural America is nothing without their football team. That's huge in small town America. We have several banks. We have a movie theater, a couple dollar stores, a quilt shop, just various other businesses, small businesses here, insurance company. There's a flower shop for, when you need flowers for a wedding or a funeral. There's also, of course, the funeral home. And there are the churches. And I kid you not, there is one corner where there is a church on 3 out of the 4 corners. Not even kidding about that. There are so many churches here, and I'm kind of wondering where are they getting all the people to fill all these churches? Because, even if you count the people in the outlying areas like myself out on the farms, that town maybe has 2,500 to 3,000 people. And there's a lot more churches than there are people, it seems like, well, at least ratio-wise, then I can be very big congregations. Now, I will say the Baptist church out on the highway has a very large congregation, and I have attended Christmas Mass there. I'm friends with the Baptist preacher and his wife. They live down the road from me. They're good people. I like them. They think I'm a good neighbor. They have absolutely no suspicion whatsoever that I am an atheist. So you're probably wondering, why am I an atheist? I mean, I'm out here in farm country. I'm surrounded by Christians. How did this happen? Well, when I was a kid, when I was real little, I remember going to church on Sunday with my parents. I mean, I was too little to know what was going on. I just remember going, but then they stopped. And they didn't start sending us back to Sunday school and church until my older brothers were, oh, in their early teens, and I was approaching my teens. And then my baby brother, who was several years younger than me, because the 3 of us older kids, we were all kind of, within a couple years of each other. Uh, Whereas my baby brother, he still believed in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. So he was very impressionable, and he claims to be a Christian, although I don't think he owns a Bible, and I'm pretty sure he never goes to church. So he's just claiming that title and says he believes in God, but I think if he were really to read the Bible, it might change his mind. I mean, I've read the Bible, and I can't reconcile what I've read as well as what I was taught in Sunday school with worshiping this God. But in Sunday school, I drove my Sunday school teacher nuts. She did not like me because, for instance, Noah's Ark, I had a lot of questions. I mean, we're looking at this boat. My dad was a Navy man. And, you're looking at all the animals that are supposed to go on this boat. And there's just one little window and one door. And you're wondering, well, what are you going to do about circulation and getting airflow through? Because, all the urea from all the feces and the urine, that's going to make everything gag. It'll poison you. And then there's the issue of displacement. I mean, elephants are extremely heavy. So are hippos, giraffes, bison. All these are very, very heavy animals. We're talking tons. And then there's the other issue, how do you keep the lions and the tigers and panthers from eating the zebras and the sheep and the goats. How do you stop that? And then, of course, where are you storing all this hay and bedding for all these animals in order to take care of them for over a month? This, of course, was logic. Something that a lot of the Sunday school teachers do not have when it comes to these stories. You're just supposed to, nod and smile and believe whatever it is they tell you. You're not supposed to think. And I was thinking, and I'm like, hey, teacher, this has to be fairy tale. This doesn't make any sense. I mean, look at the numbers. She didn't like me much at all. She shushed me up, sent me off to listen to the grown up services as soon as she could get me gone. And I didn't know what an atheist was back then. I'd never heard the word, but I did know this much. I could not buy into the stories that had absolutely no grounding in scientific basis whatsoever, no common sense to them, no logic, no reason. And the fact that it condoned slavery and condoned murder and subjugation of women and all the contradictions, it was just too much. And I knew after just a couple weeks in Sunday school that I did not believe any of it. Now, of course, I could not reveal that to anybody at the time because my folks both believed in God. Neither one of them would go to church with us, but they both believed. And, you love your parents, you don't want to break their hearts, so you keep your mouth shut. But there you have it. That's just a nutshell. In a nutshell, part of why I don't believe. But there's a lot more, and we'll get into that in coming episodes. But if you are an atheist living out in farm or ranch country like me, give me a holler. Let me know your story. Like and ring that bell button, and subscribe. And we'll put out some more episodes of this because we're an underserved group on the internet and in YouTube and basically all the podcasts. Most of these people that do the podcast, they are in urban areas. We're not. We're out here hidden in plain sight. So anyway, that's all I have for now. I will talk to y'all later. Bye bye, folks.